I think the most common question we get of all, whenever I look through the comment feeds and people send it into my email, is this. If William Branham was not the prophet for our age, then who is?
So, John, this is a question that gets into, we might say, theology or the Bible a bit. So I'm going to be careful in how I answer this question here. But I would suggest, the premise of that question is itself flawed. All right. So that question is, where do we go from here? If William Branham wasn't the prophet for the age, who is? That tells me you're looking for a new cult leader. That question tells me you're looking for someone to replace William Branham as your cult leader. Not a good idea. Not a good idea. Okay. So you need to just step back and ask, why are you even asking that question? Why do you think there is such a thing as a prophet to this age? Who told you there's such a thing as a prophet to this age, right? Was it by chance the man who thought he was the prophet to this age, right? I mean, you got to examine, why do you even believe in that? And I would suggest to you, if you're in the message, the only reason you believe there's a prophet to this age is because the man claiming to be the prophet to this age told you there was. The only reason you believe there is a seventh church age messenger is because the man claiming to be the seventh church age messenger told you there was such a thing, right? You don't believe these things because you opened up the Bible and read them out of the Bible. You believe these things because the man claiming to be all these things told you there was such a thing to begin with, right? And before you decide to go out and look for someone to fill William Branham's shoes as your next cult leader, I would suggest you might want to go back and actually re-examine and be sure that you should even believe in such a thing as that to begin with, right? And until you're willing to do that, I certainly would not in any way, shape, or form be pointing to you towards a new prophet for you to follow. And that would be my most immediate advice on this question.
The first time I had this question, somebody asked it, and this is usually coming from a person who's in the cult, and what they're trying to say is just like you said. If we're not following this cult leader, then tell me who is the correct cult leader to follow. Generally, they follow this up with, you're working with the Catholic Church. The Pope is your prophet for the age. And there, like you said, it's flawed, but there are a few flaws here. There are people who have left the cult who are in our support groups, and I've actually heard recordings of this. Their ministers will say, you're following Charles or you're following John as the new prophet. Well, we've never had a prophecy, Charles. So we can't be a prophet. But even deeper than that, prophet for the age. I never will forget the first person that asked this. I said, well, are you certain that there are church ages? And they said, absolutely, it's in the book of Revelation. I said, well, show me the verse for that. And they go look, and all they find are 7 churches. They don't find 7 church ages. And they said, something's wrong. I know that this says age in here. I said, well, show me where. And they look, and ended up, it's obviously not there, because that is extra biblical. It's the dispensationalist theology. So what ended up with is they began to attack my person. Because they can't defend what they believe, they resort to attacking the person. And that's the point in which I just cut it off, because once it gets to that level, I don't engage because I can't help them. But like you said, the premise is false. It is looking for another cult leader, but generally, it's usually a weapon to attack. So when you see that in the comment feeds, it's because they want to say that we're following the Catholic Church, or in the words of some of the people who are commenting, they say John is paid by the Pope. And that's, I wish I was paid by the Pope. I don't wish that I would follow the Pope's agenda, but I'd love to have some money, but we don't get any money from the Pope.
I'll tack on one more thing, because the first part of that question, was where do we go from here? I would say this: if you want to continue to be a Christian, where you go from here is Jesus Christ. I mean, that really is the answer. Don't go find a new cult leader. Go find Jesus, for goodness sakes. I mean, that's the answer. And that's the problem that got you in this pickle to begin with, is because you let somebody usurp the role of Savior in your life. Instead of depending on Jesus to save you, you're dependent on William Branham's shout to save you, or you're dependent on William Branham's message to save you, or this, that, or the other from the message to save you, rather than depending on, I don't know, what a novel idea. Let's depend on the Savior to actually save us, right? I mean, Christianity 101. How about go back to the basics and start believing in the Savior is actually going to save you, and then go from there. That would be my most important instruction. That is what I have tried my best to do. Now, I am most formerly a cult preacher, so hey, maybe I'm crazy. So you don't even just take it because I said it. But that would be my suggestion to you is, go get the basics of the gospel right, and go back and actually believe the Savior saves you, and then go from there.